Hello friends, I'm Niina and welcome to do art gazing with me. Art gazing is a form of divination where we use art, painting, illustrations, drawings to do divinations. Art gazing. And a lot of art gazing is really interpreting symbols and images. Today I am using one of my own illustrations. I'm writing a book about Finnish mythology. I'm a Finn myself, if someone did not know that, and we have absolutely crazy, insane myths. And one of my favorite myths is about the way ravens and crows were born. I have this big raven here. So according to the myths, ravens were born on a hill that was made of coal from broken spindle or spinning wheel and a broken witch's cauldron. So of course, what happens with all these witch items? Magical birds are being born from them. I think it was something like the thread in the spinning wheel is the heartstring of the crow or the raven, and the spindle is the beak, and so on. And then we have a cauldron here. We also have some lingonberries, just because I think they are pretty magical berries. Not directly connected with the myth. We have the spinning wheel, very old-fashioned wooden one, very pretty. We have the bird, we have the moon, we have stars, and we have some leaves here. We also have some pink flowers. Very magical picture. I'm quite happy with it. So the way art gazing works is that you, the viewer, I will ask you to look into different elements in this image, and maybe there are certain things that speak to you, and then we interpret those images, and I will also be using some charms to see what pops up, and then we can do some tarot readings as well. So I will give you a moment to look at the image. All right, let's see some of the symbolism. If you pick the berries, the lingonberry is a berry that grows in the north, in Scandinavia, here in Finland. It is very resilient, and it can represent modesty. It can represent hidden powers. I don't know how many of you have eaten lingonberries. They can be very sour when you just pick them in the forest. They are very sour, but if you make, for example, jam with them, it becomes more sweet. That jam fits well with certain types of foods. So maybe there are areas in your life that you are not perfectly happy with. Maybe you can think about different ways to improve those things. Sweeten them a little bit. Maybe you have felt that you have been ignored by some people, maybe at work, maybe in your family, and maybe it's good time to think about your position. What kind of position do you want to have? What is your personality? Are you a bit like lingonberry, modest, resilient? But even if you are resilient, you don't need to take everything. You can find strength from yourself. Then we have the pink flowers. The pink is a color of love, romantic love. It is also a color of youth and innocence, beauty. So pink flower tells that maybe someone has a bit of a romantic soul. Maybe you like to make things around yourself beautiful. You like pretty things. Then we have the black bird. Was it the raven or a crow? This applies to both of them. The crow and the raven, those are witches' birds traditionally. Depending on the culture, they can be bad omens, they can be good omens. In many cultures, just in general, black animals have been bad omens. Let's just ignore that. All the animals are good omens here. Now, crows and ravens, they are very smart animals. They are very clever. When you pick the black bird, it signifies that you are curious, you are intellectual. And when we go back into this origin story of the ravens and the crows, how they are born from witches' cauldrons and things like that. It can signify how you can get into your fullest potential with all your cleverness, your knowledge, how you can reach your full potential, so you can also, be born from the witch's cauldron. And it also signifies that we learn from our mistakes. We all make mistakes, we all break things, but then new things can be born from those mistakes. Cauldron goes into that same category. We make things in a cauldron, we stir things in a cauldron. So if you have something going on, let it simmer in your mind. Just work on making it as good as possible so that you can be proud of it. Take your time. That is the symbol of the cauldron. Then we have the moon. Now the moon is symbol of the divine feminine, also transformation. Maybe you are going through a transformation in your life, some kind of physical or mental. Maybe you have grown out of things. Maybe there are relationships that don't serve you anymore. Maybe you feel like you have grown out of certain people. Maybe it is time for change. Maybe it is a change in yourself. Maybe you notice that some old patterns don't work as well as they did before and you need to change things. You need to stir things a little bit. And then we have these nice leaves, dancing in the wind. If you pick the leaves, it signals that your life is at the moment in a good position, that you feel like you can stop for a moment, you can relax a bit and just look at the leaves dancing in the air or in the night sky. If you pick the starry sky, it means that you have a very good imagination. You look to the stars for guidance, you look for the stars for inspiration, you never run out of ideas. You enjoy that. And you are also fascinated by the mysterious, the universe, the way things work, the spirit world and our physical world. And if you pick the spindle, the spinning wheel, it signifies that you are a crafty person. The spinning wheel is also something that we find from fairy tales. We find it from Sleeping Beauty and in old folk tales, women at the same time they told stories to others. Maybe you are a natural storyteller. Maybe you like to do things with your hands. Maybe you are good at certain things. Maybe it's drawing, maybe it's singing, maybe it's creating things, maybe it's gardening. So that is what spinning wheel symbolizes. You create things, you make things alive with your words, with your imagination, with the things that you do. Spinning wheel can also symbolize danger because there is that sharp needle somewhere. I don't think I have it actually in my image. But it can also symbolize danger. Maybe there has been sharp objects in your life and you are now learning how to avoid. You have started to recognize patterns and you now have learned how to avoid the sharp objects, the needles. So there we had some symbolism behind this lovely painting, and now I'm going to do you a reading with charms and we take a look at the cards. Here I have some charms. Let's see what we will pick up. All right. This looks like fun. We have some mushrooms here, toadstools. We have a measuring cup. We have a monkey. We have a stirring pot. And we have a little fox. Very cute. Now the mushrooms and the toadstools, they symbolize the fairy world. You are someone who likes to find magic in every day. You enjoy things that are weird and unusual. So when we see a measuring cup, we can think about how full is our cup. Is our cup halfway? Is it almost empty or is it full? Happiness looks very different to every person. Then we have the fox. Now my fox is very jolly and happy, but the fox is a character that usually avoids people. It is a bit of a shy creature. In folklore, the fox is usually someone who is quite cunning and a bit of a trickster. Now in some cultures, for example in China, and in Asian cultures, fox is a sign of a good omen and abundance and luck. And also in Japan, fox is a sign of good luck. It encourages us to think about our connection with nature, mysteries of the natural world. Fox also represents a seeker. Here in Finland we have a story about the way Northern Lights were created by a magical fox. So it was believed that if people would catch this particular fox, it was called the fire fox, tulikettu, then they would gain all kinds of happiness and abundance in life. Now, of course, nobody could catch the tulikettu because it was like a phoenix bird. There was only one tulikettu, and it ran in the Arctic over the snowy hills. And when it ran, its fur sparkled and created the northern lights. One of my favorite Finnish myths. But that story also represents this idea that so many people have, that you always need to be chasing something. You need to be pursuing something. We shouldn't be chasing this fox that creates northern lights. We should just look to the sky and see the northern lights and feel happy in that moment. Then we have the mixing bowl. Now the mixing bowls have existed as long as humanity. We bake with mixing bowls, we make sauces in mixing bowls, and of course we can make magic potions in the mixing bowls. A cauldron essentially is a mixing bowl. It can be as simple as maybe you like to cook, maybe you like to make food, or it can symbolize that you like to create different projects, and maybe you are a bit of a hustler, maybe you have multiple things going on. It can also mean that maybe you are a green witch, maybe you like to make your own mixtures and your own potions. Then we have the monkey. Now monkeys usually signify playfulness and happiness and joy, finding joy in your life, and also connecting with your inner child. That is important. But monkey can also symbolize sort of monkey mind when your brain has a lot of things going on. I can definitely agree with that. Let's do some card readings. You can pick whatever speaks to you. We have the monkey here. Then we have the toadstool and the mushroom caps. Very cute. And we have the fox here. I will give you a moment to decide what it is that you like. Stay still. All right, let's see what cards we get. First we have intention. Then we have replenish. And the last one is barriers. So we get unicorn and sleep and dreams, and we get a dragon. That's pretty cool. But let's start with intention. Today I am using Whispers of Healing tarot deck, one of my favorites. I absolutely love the artwork. So let's just look at it. We have a unicorn with these absolutely beautiful wings and a fairy flying. We have butterflies and we have flowers and fairies dancing here. Really beautiful. Intention. Intention setting is a powerful tool for improving your energy and healing levels. When you focus your thoughts and actions with purpose, you increase the chance of achieving your goals. Intention setting can be done throughout your day. You might start your day with an intention that add to as your day goes along. You can set a short-term intention such as for inner calm while facing a tense situation. The stronger your intention, the more focused your actions. Intentions can bring fast results. Setting strong intentions does not mean controlling people or situations. It means focusing on yourself and directing your will. Being clear about your intentions will help you have greater positive control over your life and make it easier to deal with obstacles. Rather than thinking of your goals in broad terms, be specific. Outline a key intention for each day and hold it in your heart until you go to sleep at night. An angel rides on the back of a unicorn amidst a multitude of butterflies. Imagine your intentions are those butterflies, flying forth to transform your day. Angels show up to remind you that you are always protected and loved. The unicorn represents the magic that is held within your intentions. The angel wears iris in her hair to symbolize faith and hope. The images adorning the angel's wings speak to your intentions. Remember to create the positive things you are longing for and not the things you don't want. That sounds beautiful. Let's see, replenish. It is not possible to be happy or at your best all the time. Having depleted energy or off days is a natural part of everyday life. However, it is how you manage those times when you are energetically low that is important. It is imperative to take care of your emotional energy just as you take care of your physical well-being. This means addressing depression, fear, mood swings, anger, or feeling drained of energy. Have strategies for coping and replenishing yourself, such as an exercise program. Identify ways of regrouping and gaining control of your energy. There are benefits of scheduling a day each month that is just for you. This day can be whatever you would like it to be. Sleep in. Watch a favorite movie while enjoying a favorite treat. Make a dinner date with a friend or just catch up for a chat. Doing something that makes you feel good will help revitalize your energy. When you are in a healing process, depression can be a challenge. Make sure you take steps to address depression early on. Talk to people about how you are feeling, and if you need, get help organizing time for something you enjoy. A beautiful woman unwinds a satin sheet while a bustle of activity goes on around her. Take care of yourself. It is up to you to replenish your energy. The color lilac represents the future, your imagination and your dreams. Lilac is grounding. It also enhances physic ability and spiritual enlightenment. You are resilient. You will overcome anything that comes your way. A difficult period is diminishing and moving into your past. And let's see the last one. This is very beautiful as well. Barriers. You have created barriers or defense mechanism that may be preventing emotional or mental healing. The universe is eagerly waiting and willing to assist you with your healing, but you may not be receiving the healing you desire. Something seems to be blocking or hindering your restoration. The obstacle may be a protective measure you have put in place to keep your heart from further harm. This shield may seem necessary and logical. However, it is also preventing the healing light being sent to you from penetrating and healing your pain. Defense mechanisms are a response to being wronged, hurt, rejected, abandoned, or abused. You may have made a mental vow not to allow yourself to feel a certain type of pain again. Once the block is in place, you may find it difficult to talk about certain situations or to receive corrective information about your experience. By identifying the root cause of your defense mechanism, healing can begin. You need to be willing to tear down the walls you have built so that healing can occur. A woman rides high on the back of a dragon in the middle of the ocean. The shoreline is covered with jagged rocks and looks completely unapproachable. Smoke comes from the dragon's mouth as if he might breathe fire at any moment. You have created a similar type of energy with the walls you have built around you. Remember, fear does not keep you safe. Be willing to make some changes. Talk to someone about what you are harboring so your healing process can begin. The full moon shines her light on whatever it is you are ready to release. The turbulent water shows this may not be easy for you to do. However, the same turbulent water can be cleansing and will help you to move forward. The stars in the sky are your blessings. They suggest there are many sources that will help you become free. All right. Those were the messages. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoy my content, best way to support me is to join my Patreon at patreon.com/fairychamber. On my Patreon, I mostly do stuff about mythology, folktales, archetypes, talk about my witchy life here in Finland's archipelago, and also talk about my art, of course. Show even more of my paintings. And read tarot, of course. And you will find links from the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Stay magical. Bye.